Your homework assignment, right? Alright, these are quiz corrections for Math 3 quiz number 9. You guys took this on October 29th, 2015. Zoom in. Question number 1 asks you to solve. A lot of students are making the mistake of trying to add 4x right here. The reason why you can't do that is because I've circled like terms. On one side of the equation, when you combine like terms, -1 and -4 is -5x. So don't try to do the opposites on one side of the equation. Look here. Notice here these are opposites. You only do opposites when you're going across the equal sign. That'll equal 0. And this equals -4. Divide both sides by -5, and you're getting x equals 4/5. Remember, a negative divided by a negative is a positive. If you made the mistake of having a minus sign here, such as -4/5, then I gave you 3 out of 4. Remember, on your quiz corrections, you should be using the side margin here. And you should be actually doing the whole problem again, because you guys have noticed very similar problems I do put back on your quizzes or tests. Okay? Question number 2. Question number 2 just asks you to graph. I think this was the same question as the previous quiz, the same exact question. X is greater than 1. I'm looking for an open circle. The variable is on the left, therefore I need numbers that are bigger than 1. That's towards the right, and the answer is C. Question number 3 I'm looking for is -4, a solution to the graph above, and also 5. If you look at where -4 is, notice how it's not on the darkened shaded region, so it is not a solution. -4 is not bigger than 1. Question 4 does ask you, is 5 a solution to the question above? If you go up here to your inequality, 5 is greater than 1, that is true. And notice how it's in the shaded region. Question number 5. A lot of students are struggling on graphing. You're giving an equation in standard form. We're going to talk about standard form again in chapter 3 starting on next week. I wanted to get into slope-intercept form. To get into slope-intercept form, I have to get into slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. Notice how the y variable is isolated. So somehow I need to get where it says y equals. Well, if I add y to both sides, these will cancel. This comes down, you're left with 3x equals -3 plus y, or y minus 3. Here I am adding 3 to both sides. I shouldn't have drawn that line there. Oh, I know what it is. It's a box. If I add 3 to both sides, these will cancel. These are not like terms. I can't get 6x. So I get 3x plus 3. Notice how when you're graphing, I write the form right below it. Then you can identify some things. The b is equal to 3, and the slope is equal to 3. Your b here is your starting point. So you got 2 points just for putting a dot on +3 on the y-axis. Can you see that? The next thing is my slope is 3, or 3/1. A rise of 3, 1, 2, 3, right 1. Notice how my graph has positive slope from left to right. Question number, oh, I had 2 number 5s there. I didn't notice that. You guys have your Ken puzzle. Remember, you can only use the numbers 1 to 3. This one tells you the whole puzzle has either addition or subtraction, and you shouldn't have negatives on there. The question for the top left was, this is a freebie. It means that it's a cage, and the only number you can put in there is what class? 3. So look for the freebies when you do the problem. Okay? Remember, I need the numbers 1 to 3, and you can't repeat the numbers. Some of you might just even try guessing. You just fill it in, but then at least double check. This one says when you subtract the 2 numbers, they will equal 1, and that's the case. Excuse me. That is not a -1. These 2 numbers add together to be 5, and these 2 numbers subtract to be 2. I'm going to go kind of quickly because I only have about 8 minutes. Question number 6, this is already in slope-intercept form. I have positive 1 is my y-intercept. There's the constant, and my slope is in front of the variable x, rise of 2, run of 5. Up 2, 1, 2, run of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this should make sense because anything on the line is a solution. So 5, 3 would actually make this statement up here true. I'll upload it tonight, so if it's too fast for you, you can watch it again. Question number 7, write an inequality for each below. The maximum speed for the Concorde is 1,450 miles per hour, which means it can go 1,450 miles. That's why it's equals to, but that's the max speed, which means it can go less than that. Number 80, the minimum speed. You can go at 45 miles on the freeway or more. Does that make sense? Each of those were worth 2 points each. I gave you 1 point if you had less than 1450 and you didn't have the equal sign. Question number 8, you can see the answers are true and false. Remember, sometimes I don't use the words less than, I might use words smaller than. For example, on C, negative 3 is smaller than or equal to 2. Negative 3 is smaller than or equal to 2. 2 is greater than or equal to negative 3. That's true. This one should be true. So if I mark that wrong, just show me after your quiz or after your test tomorrow. Determine whether each compound inequality is true. So here you have, notice the key words here. These are and, so it has to meet both of them, which means both of them have to be true. 3 is greater than 2, yes, and 3 is smaller than 5, yes. 6 is greater than 2, yes. 6 is less than 5, no. That means it's false. Class, what's the key word or key number for the word or? 1. I just have to meet one of these. Has to be true. These are both false. Remember, you should be writing your answers on the right-hand side in that column there. And if it helps, you can write explanations. So if I put the same question back on your test, then you can do it. This question here asks you to do a little bit of work. They're saying determine whether 5, the number 5, does it satisfy each compound inequality. Is 5 less than 6? Yes, it is. Is 5 less than 9? Yes, it is, so it's true. Here, if you did the work, you add 9. I don't have the work there. It'll be 14. X is less than or equal to 17. That is true. If I divide by negative 4 on both sides, this would be x is less than or equal to less than or equal to 3. And 5 is not less than 3, so that's false. Question number 9. Let me zoom out a little bit. Represent the solution to each compound inequality shown on the number line. So a lot of you guys can graph these. Okay. I gave you 3 points if you can just graph it. 2, sorry. I gave you 3 points. What did I write there? No answer. Oh, no final answer. You graphed it, but you didn't have this. This graph here represents the keyword or because the arrows are pointing outward. So that is x less than 2 or x is greater than 3. Question number 9 is the harder one for most students. So if you graphed it correctly, if you graph these two, I give you 2 out of 4. A number that is greater than 1 and a number that is also less than negative 2. Okay, but when you graph this, that direction and this direction, notice how this picture represents or. But I have the keyword and. So that should give you an indication something's wrong. There is no number that is both greater than 1 and less than 2. The answer is no solution. Question number 10 basically just asks you to solve it. For most of you, I would recommend splitting the problem. And then putting this answer on your graph that looks like this. Your final solution is x is less than or equal to 15, but greater than 12. And when I ask you guys every Friday what kind of weekend you should have a fun, safe, and legal one. 1 point extra credit each for those.